Everyone, if y'all caught some of that last Instagram live, sorry about that. We were having some technical difficulties. My phone service or my Wi-Fi wasn't very good, so we're trying to do this off Wi-Fi this time, and we'll see how it goes. So if you're tuning in, we are talking with Ned Baldwin. There he is. Let's see if we can add him. It's loading. It's loading. But we are talking with Ned Baldwin today. Hello!
Hi! Got it going.
Sorry for that terrible Wi-Fi a second ago, but
well, no worries. No worries.
Look at you, looking all official in your kitchen. I love it.
We're gonna demo. I can't do it in the dining room.
Yeah, I did put on a real shirt today for the first time in a while, so
you and me both.
We're all doing great.
Yeah.
But yeah, for folks just tuning in, Ned, I'm just gonna give a brief little overview of who you are, what you're about. Ned has a cookbook out that he co-authored called How to Dress an Egg. He is the owner of, is it Houseman or Houseman? How do you guys pronounce it?
Houseman.
Houseman, yeah. So he's the owner of Houseman in New York City. And this book, it looks really great because the premise of the book, right, the first line in this is kind of about learning to cook relatively straightforward things really, really well. Am I kind of right in interpreting that? So, which is definitely something that somebody like me, who I don't cook a whole lot, but lately I've been at home, so I'm really trying to step up my game.
Yeah,
so
all of us.
This is, probably a really timely book for a lot of us. So, I guess tell me a little bit about that whole premise of learning to cook one thing really well, and it kind of opening a lot of doors for you in cooking. How did you and your co-author decide that was going to be the premise of this book? Why do you think that's important for people?
I think I'm just kind of giving them, it may not work for everybody. I don't know, but this is the way I learn. I like kind of dive deep into a method or process and learn as much as I can about it, and then find ways to use it. So that's actually how this book works. So the book's titled How to Dress an Egg. So, and the idea is we teach you how to, boil an egg, or how to poach a piece of cod, or how to roast a piece of fish, or 20 other things. And then after we show you that simple process, and after the idea is you kind of get that down and you can serve that thing just as it is, or with a squeeze of lemon or whatever, then we show you ways to dress it up, kind of gussy it up, make it more fun, or eat it in different seasons. Or some of the recipes are for larger things, so you could eat it one way on Tuesday, and another way on Wednesday, another way on Thursday, which I think is particularly helpful in the environment we're living in now.
Definitely, yeah. So you like the book is called How to Dress an Egg. You mentioned the eggs. We're gonna make some eggs here in a second. Yeah. So outside of eggs, which I am a connoisseur of eggs, eating them, not so much cooking them, but but I'm trying. So what are a few things, and the book goes into more detail, but what are a few like main staples that you really think everyone should know how to cook, at least like decently well?
Yeah, well, I don't have any shoulds in cooking. Especially because, I think probably the recipe that was the guiding light for the concept of the book was the roast chicken, which we serve at the restaurant, and which I found is a pretty easy transfer to the home. Not all restaurant recipes are, and this is definitely not a restaurant cookbook. Worth saying that I wasn't a restaurant chef or cook until I was 36. I was a home cook, and so I've been in restaurants for 10 years, and I kind of think of myself as at least in this context, as like a home cook spy that went into the restaurant world and was like, that stuff's totally useless at home, but this stuff can be really helpful. So this roast chicken recipe was one of those. So I think the book is a great book for vegetarians. We got a ton of vegetable recipes. So to the concept, what should you, like we do this covered pot method with a lot of vegetables. We actually do it with pork also, but I think that covered pot trick that has different lengths of cooking time and some nuances between cooking leeks or cooking beets, cooking carrots, But that sort of overall concept can be really helpful if you love cooking vegetables. And then, the roast chicken, I've been cooking a lot for my family here. Everybody in the family likes chicken, with the exception of my daughter, who says she doesn't like it, but eats it anyway. I can't, their tastes change every couple of weeks.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if you can get that chicken recipe under your belt, that's a pretty awesome thing to have. And I think that's sort of where you can approach cooking like, I need to know the whole canon of French cooking, or I need to learn how to cook Italian food or Chinese. That's not really what we're doing here. We're like, here's how you cook a chicken, period. Learn how to cook the chicken. It's not a universe of information. It's just one specific thing. And then the idea is, once you've got that in the bag, then maybe you can do some other stuff with it,
Yeah,
and then if you want to learn a couple more
more
chapters, yeah, totally. So, yeah.
Awesome. Now I really want to make that roast chicken. You mentioned a few of the recipes in the book. You're gonna make some eggs for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the dressed eggs. In fact, I boiled some eggs already. I thought I'd peel them because I've got a tip for peeling that I think probably a lot of people know and a few people don't, that could be helpful. When I do boiled eggs, they're in water all the time until I eat them. And so, when they come out, I put them, I don't use an ice bath. It's just at home. Like, I don't have ice laying around that much. Our ice machine here is broken. So just use cold water. Not a big deal. These are 7-minute eggs, although we're saying that while I was cooking them, like every other person in the world, I was doing something else at the same time. And so I think the first batch were 10-minute eggs. So I've got 4 eggs here, but I'm going to find the 7-minute eggs out of the 10-minute eggs. So anyway, as I'm peeling, I'm going in and out of the water, in and out, in and out. And I think the water kind of helps it rinse it kind of like gets in between the shell and the egg and makes the shell come off a lot more easily. And then the dressed egg, the story of it is shortly after I opened the restaurant, I was going to do a French appetizer called oeuf mayonnaise, which is just boiled eggs in some kind of delicious mayonnaise. And I had all these ingredients that I was going to use, and I was going downstairs. I had them all in my hand. I was going down the stairs and got halfway down the stairs and thought, why does this need to be a mayonnaise? Went back upstairs and put the ingredients in sort of a different arrangement, whatever, and then and served it, and it became a hit and sort of a signature dish for the restaurant. And then we called them, what are they? They're dressed up eggs. So I found the 7-minute eggs. They're a little bit softer. That's a dressed egg's about a 7-minute egg. I think we say in the book maybe it's a 7.5-minute egg. We do, hopefully it's not boring, hopefully it's fun and interesting, but we do a little bit of talking about boiled eggs, like, a 6-minute egg, everybody. Eggs come in different sizes. People have different size pots. People's stoves have different BTU burners. So, conceptually, that's what a 6-minute egg is, but actually that could be a 5.5-minute egg, and it could be a 6.5-minute egg, or 7-minute, whatever. So the egg that instead of talking about the time, we'll talk about the egg we're looking for. So for this, I like an egg where the yolk is, a contemporary term that people have been using in the cooking world is jammy. So it's like set pretty much, but it's still wet and sort of brilliantly yellow, orange, whatever the chicken did to it.
Sure. So it's not kind of that like flaky, hard boiled.
Yeah, it's not dry. Yeah, it's not dry. So peeled, split. Yeah, that's nice. I'll show you in a sec. And then we give 5, I think, recipes for dressed eggs in the book. This one that I'm doing is something, it's one that we've done most in the restaurant. We use something that we call egg candy. I put it in a glass jar so you can kind of see. This is a mixture of garlic and capers, chili, lemon zest. I put whole grain mustard in it. And, like everybody, I'm here in my house. I've got some stuff. I don't have other stuff. I'm substituting here and there. I think I'm totally cool with that, and expressly so in the book. All through the book, I'm personally completely not faithful to recipes at all. Um, so I think we have fried parsley maybe in the I don't even remember the recipe, but this is very delicious, and we'll do it like this. So I'm putting some of this egg candy right into the yolk, and olive oil, plenty of olive oil, and then I made fried leeks. So I just cut leeks super, super thin and then cooked them in low temperature oil. I think this is a fancified version of what's in the book. And so I'm going to put these right on top of the eggs, make a bit of a mess. I like messy food. And then I think in the book we use parsley, but in the garden all I had was kind of big overgrown chives. So that's what we're using here. And let's see, I'll give you a little tabletop of this. I have to find it. There you go. That's the dish.
That looks great. That looks so good.
It's a nice snack. Nice.
I made
little
sure to
afternoon
eat
snack.
before this because I knew you were going to show me some delicious looking eggs that I wanted. So I like inhaled a sandwich. But yeah, that's so and so you boil the eggs for 6-ish minutes, 7-ish minutes, and then you put together that sauce. How long would you say that takes? Like
5 minutes, less.
Yeah. So this is like a really quick, easy thing to do, and you can kind of use what you have in your fridge, which is
totally.
We've been doing a lot of fridge clean out meals around here. Like, what can we throw in a pot? So it's probably a good example of something people can do with eggs if they can find eggs. I know they've been
in and out for sure. Yeah.
So your book came out at a really good time, obviously, like I said earlier. So what advice would you give to people who are maybe spending more time cooking, who are getting bored of doing the same old stuff, the same old recipes that they usually use, or people who are cooking more for the first time, people like me who are trying slightly more sophisticated things than just like putting chicken on a pan?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. First advice, of course, is buy the book.
Great advice.
Yeah. But I find that my most creative moments often come when I don't have the right ingredients. So I would say, I'd say clean your fridge. Take everything out of the fridge, see what you got, throw away everything that's bad. The open pesto tube that my daughter opened 6 months ago, put that in the garbage. And see what you got, and come up with an idea of what you're going to make with it. And similarly, wherever your pantry is, cabinet, whatever, pull all the stuff out. Maybe you have chickpeas in there, some black beans. Open your spice drawer, take everything out. I mean, we all have time. I'm doing this myself, actually. Just like empty the cupboards, empty the cabinets, see what you got, and use what you got, and have some ideas. And you can open whatever cookbook you have, and if you happen to have found chickpeas, find a chickpea recipe. And you probably don't have all the ingredients, but substitute like crazy and have fun, and then taste while you're cooking, and make it taste good. That's what I do.
Yeah, and don't be too hard on yourself if it doesn't taste great, right? I've had
don't be hard on yourself at all.
A few stinkers so far during all of this.
Yeah.
When you're like, this is gonna taste great, and you're like, it doesn't. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit. Your restaurant's closed right now. So I know all of us are trying to do whatever we can or many of us are trying to do whatever we can to support local restaurants and make sure that, we're in Austin, your restaurant's in New York City. What advice can you give to people on how to support those restaurants now, how to help make sure all of y'all are still there when this is all over, show our love? Like what can we do? I know ordering takeout, gift cards, that kind of stuff.
Right. I mean, in our case with Houseman, it's we did a GoFundMe for the staff. So, because they're all on unemployment, so they're getting about half what they would normally make. So just to supplement that a little bit, people have been very, very generous to that. I've been really grateful for that on the staff's behalf. And The longer term story, we're not open. I thought pretty hard about takeout, and at the end of the day, I'm not comfortable doing it. I'm not comfortable asking my staff to come in. I kept doing the math on how many hands would touch everything and how many interactions we'd have to get that food out the door. And then also that none of us know whether the incubation period is so long. None of us know whether we're sick. So you can be perfectly healthy looking and still be contagious. So I decided to not do takeout. It's just didn't feel right to me, and I'm not ordering it myself. So we're totally closed. And I think that the PPP program is once they figure out how to give it to more actual small businesses and less multinational, publicly traded small businesses, which is what seems to have happened, unfortunately. I think it'll probably come through, and that'll give us a couple of months. And if we are indeed able to open after a couple of months, that's the second half, so that's, and it's summer, and I suspect people are still going to be a little apprehensive about, at least in New York, about being in the city. It's so densely populated, and we're not going to have a vaccine by then, and I suspect we won't have as thorough testing as for immunity or for the antibodies. So once we are open in whatever capacity, it's about we'll be grateful, I suppose, if people will patronize in whatever way they feel comfortable doing that. It's a lot of question marks. I talk to a lot of people every day. I do a lot of reading every day, and I'm really curious what's going on in places like Denmark and Germany and in China and in Korea, where they're a little bit further along. Still a lot of question marks. Don't know.
Yeah. So moral of the story is we should all make plans to visit our favorite restaurants as soon as it's safe to do so.
As soon as yeah. And in the meantime, stay safe and enjoy is strong, but I'll just say I'm at home with my 13-year-old and my 15-year-old and my wife, and it's fantastic. I'm sad for the world, and this is a cruel, horrible thing. And I'm drinking up the time with my family that more time than I ever suspected I would get.
Yeah. You gotta take advantage of it. My fiance and I have been working about 3 feet apart from each other every single day. So it's been a wonderful and interesting time for us. But
that's a good test. That's an early test.
Yeah, it's definitely. I told him if we can survive this, I think we're pretty good. We're pretty good. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, Ned, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
I'm going to record this and we're going to upload it to our IGTV. So
cool.
Folks who can't watch it live or within the next 24 hours will be able to tune back in and see the recording. And then we'll have it on our website too, and I'll toss a link to buy your book. So everyone
Great.
cooking at home can get started. I've been buying a lot of cookbooks lately, so I'm gonna order it too. So